man's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town. Show. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die.
What's going on, everybody?
This is the
Welcome.
Straub Bro Sports Show.
Yes, you hear that there? Sorry, I was hitting the wrong buttons, trying to turn the music down and hitting the wrong button. But welcome to the Straub Bro Sports Show. We've got breaking news that has derailed every piece and part of this show right now as the music plays. First of all, let's get through the highs and hellos. Mom is in the building. Morgan Hill, who I think is now technically a defensive end for the Rapids, is in the building. And yes, you are right, the greatest sports podcast planet on earth. And Nick, don't you even start. We're going to get there. Now, first things first, music back up and music off. I love my own theme song. I can't get enough of it. But welcome to the Straub Bro Sports Show. Big Bro Ken here with you, checking in with Little Bro as always. And before we get to any of the breaking news, bro, obviously, we know what time it is based on what you got on. But what's going on, little bro?
Oh, listen, as the hours have gone on, it's gone from pure excitement to just please do something on the field, absolute nervousness. But this show will distract me for at least the next hour and a half before I have to go into that. So, well, let's have some fun.
I think that is the first time that Nick has heard the intro song. Yes, I appreciate that, Nick. It is fire as all heck. Shout out to Daniel, the man owner of the Falls Rapids, for our help with that one. I shouldn't even say help, for cooking that fire up for us. Yeah, he didn't say it, but yes, the Bearcats kick off today. That game, their game with Nebraska here at tonight. We will have plenty of that to talk about here later. But Drew, we've got to get to it. We've got breaking news. It literally broke about a minute before the show started. Go ahead.
Yes. So, as of probably 10 minutes ago, as we were talking, Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons has officially been traded to the Green Bay Packers in a deal that, as per Chef Report, literally 30 seconds ago, the full trade, 2 first-round picks, and 3-time Pro Bowler defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Ken, obviously, very, very tough losing Micah Parsons. The deal reportedly is 4 years, $188 million, 130 of it guaranteed. That makes about $47 a year. That makes him the highest yearly paid linebacker by about $6 million, just passing TJ Watt. Ken, it's tough. You got some stuff back, but it is obviously tough losing a guy of this caliber. I want to hear your thoughts.
Can you throw Morgan's comment up for me?
I can. Of course I can.
Thank you, Morgan. Two first-round picks in a quarterback-heavy draft, trading away a guy that was great, but our defense sucked anyways. See you later, Micah Parsons. See you in your freaking podcast when you talk too much during the season. I'll see you. I could care less. I'm done. I'm done. Okay? I am done. This saga has played out long enough. Let's not think for a second that I'm blaming Micah Parsons, because I'm not. Jerry Jones is a jackass. This is what he does. But unfortunately, when you did it with CeeDee Lamb was okay with sticking around and taking the money, and he wanted to be in Dallas. Dak Prescott knows what it's worth to be the head or the front of the franchise and the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. That was too much to pass away. Michael Parsons wanted to be in Dallas, but he's also like, yo, I'm trying to get paid. He's one of those athletes, and it's not a knock. Okay, he's a smart guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He knows his worth. And the Cowboys tried to play around. It was $44 million a year on the Cowboys side, but Jerry kept doing dumb shit. Apologize for my language right now. But he did. He kept doing dumb stuff. He kept trying to go around Micah's agent, which is illegal and you're not even allowed to do to begin with. And it pissed Micah off. Micah got tired of it. Micah had a number. They knew what they wanted. And we probably could have gotten to that number, more than likely, but just the stunts that were being pulled, Micah was done with it. But on my side, I can't tell you the last time. There we go. Well, not your lines, but Micah can't win the division by himself either. I can't tell you the last time I was this unexcited for a Cowboy season. I just don't care. And that, I don't want to say that encompasses my feelings on the NFL as a whole, but we started this show as a college football and soccer show. Okay. The weirdest two things that you could put together. And here, let me just run down some stuff. Mom's giving us some love. As we said, Mikey can't win the division. I don't think they can see me because I'm blocked. Ray, what's going on, fellas? And then we'll get to Nick's comment. Yes, we did lose a huge voice. Here's the problem, though, guys, because this is my team, so I'm gonna speak from some knowledge here. Michael was a freaking distraction. We got on this show and talked about how the podcast and the complaining during the season, it needed to stop. Please stop doing it. Okay? No, listen, I have enough. Okay? I have enough. I don't need the Browns. All of my teams bring me enough. Don't you worry, Morgan. But he became a distraction. Listen, this is all the side conversation I have to to advance the topic. Duh, he's an all pro. It's TJ Watt, it's him, it's Myles Garrett. It's in those three. Toss them around, whichever one you come up, you could start a franchise with. Like I got all that. But at some point, like you said pre-show, and I'm gonna steal your point, I apologize. If you're trying to build to a Super Bowl, we clearly saw with a loaded team, that team wasn't good enough. So if Micah's going to run the franchise out money-wise, fine, trade him. Now, the guy we got back, I could care less about. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Sure, play a couple snaps on the D-line, get a couple snacks. Those 2 first-round picks next year in a quarterback-heavy draft with an aging Dak Prescott, who you could clear off the books when you draft Arch Manning and he takes over the come on, man.
So, one, we don't know when the first round picks are. Obviously, I'm assuming it's this year and next year's, but it's yet to be seen. But I think we talked about this pre-show where from an outsider's perspective, the Cowboys have slowly sunk in in terms of just producing on the field. And so if you were this trade truly shows that, yes, you have these great players, you have these things, but they're not enough. And the only way that you are seeing out of this is to go through the draft and to kind of go through a little bit of a rebuild here. By the time you are back up to that status to fully contend, either that Micah Parsons deal is over and you have to re-sign him, or he's not going to be the same player he is right now. He's 26. By the time this deal is up, he's going to be 30. And so it's one of those things where, is he an amazing player? Yes. But he is not someone that could help you right now to win a Super Bowl. And getting something out of him and getting value back from him instead of letting him walk in free agency is the best thing you can do if you truly believe that you aren't ready now to compete for a Super Bowl.
Still here, everyone. I'm still here. I didn't go. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Like, and listen, I know everybody's just gonna say, "Oh, you're just making all this up now because you just want to make excuses." Well, yeah, partially. I have to come to terms with the trade at some point, but at the same time, like, he's 26 years old. You did it with Miles. You gave him that contract, but there was plenty of people who said, "Hey, well, if you can get 2 first round, you know what I mean? And I'm not touching that comment. I'm not speaking to him right now. If you don't know, our cousin who pops in all the time there in the chat is a Packers fan. We're not speaking right now. But yeah, love you too. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Like I said, this team for me is literally I don't have expectations, to be honest with you, past I thought maybe making a wild card run. Spoiler alert. So I mean, we'll see. Like I said, the offense was going to have to outscore everyone anyway. So I mean, we already knew we were gearing up for. All right, you put up his little go. Put it up for him. Put it up for him. Let him have his little moment. There you go. Love you too.
All right. I think we've talked about enough on it. Obviously, we will see what happens from there. But yeah, let's after that moment, I think we can finally get into the show now.
Absolutely. So let's get more depressing, right? Let's go from all the way to Dallas and let's fly back here to Cleveland, Drew. Ooh, it is time to guard the land. This team is way back in the division now. I think it is 11 plus games.
About that 11, yeah, I think about 11.
Okay. They're only 5 back in the wild card.
Yeah, but
that feels like 10.
It feels like 30, if I'm being honest.
Right. If we want to do the math, this team currently only has a 4% chance of making the playoffs. Drew, my preseason prediction of a wild card berth from the Guardians has a 96% chance of being wrong. I did my math there. Is there hope, or is it time to see what next year looks like?
If you would have had this conversation with me before this weekend, I would have said, yeah, it sucks, but hey, we've gone on runs this season before. We've got ourselves back into the race. And then I watched Monday's game against the Rays. I went to the game and I looked at this team and I went, there's no chance for this team. Your starting pitching has fallen off a cliff massively. They were band-aided together, for the rest of the season, but now the band-aids have completely torn off. There's no one in your bullpen that you can consistently throw out there and actually get good innings with anymore.
They're playing on FanDuel.
And the biggest thing is that team that was consistently at least putting up some hitting, this past 11, 12 game stretch, they've scored, I think, maybe 10 runs, maybe less runs. It's one of those things where you look at it and you see a team that had one big momentum push at the end of the season, and then I think just ran out of gas, and you can see that this team cannot sustain a run anymore. We see this by the releasing of Carlos Santana, getting Kyle Manzardo and CJ Kafis some more reps in the field so that they can kind of get better. We appreciate Carlos for everything he can do. You saw Tanner Bybee and Stephen Vogt kind of have discussions after his start on Monday, kind of going at each other. I think it's a combination of a frustrating season after such an amazing run last year, and also just not performing to your standards across the board. And so obviously 4% is not zero. We're not officially eliminated, so we'll see what we can do from there. But it's one of those ones where it's so hard after watching that performance to really say we have a chance, especially when our September schedule is double, if not triple, as much in terms of difficulty as it was in August, and we're limping along at the end of August.
That man, I mean, if it's going to happen, that man has to be an absolute MVP, top tier. I mean, more than he has been. He has to literally carry us beyond that. As if the Michael Parsons news wasn't enough. Yesterday, Guardians released Carlos Santana today. As everybody knows, that's my favorite Guardian. That's depressing. I don't believe this team has any % chance of making the playoffs whatsoever. I think it's time to start checking out the kids. see how they look, see what's going on there. I had an opportunity to watch an Akron Rubber Ducks. They're not the Arrows anymore. An Akron Rubber Ducks game. Got to see Velasquez, the kid we talked about being promoted. Got to see some kids down there. That's what it's about right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you have guys that you can see what happens. Obviously, we just brought up the kid for the pitching, Messick, and he's been pitching great the past 2 starts. So that's good to get him some experience. Valero just hit for the cycle the other day, and so bringing him up would be great just to kind of get him some swings. I know everyone is saying Bazana, and I understand the want there. But like I said, I think you need to just give him some time to develop some more. I don't think that giving him opportunities in a big league when he just got to AAA is going to do him any good in terms of just kind of his confidence level. Because if he comes up and stinks it up after such a quick thing, it's going to get to his head. And so I think kind of leaving him down to just get right through the winter. But there's a bunch of other guys we can bring up there because you have some players that even if they do come back from injury or even if they do, show kind of a little uptick, are they really in your long-term plan? And so there's a lot of guys we can bring up in September. We'll see what happens when next week comes around. So it's tough, but we'll see.
I'll wrap it up with that comment. We do love September. This team does love some September ball. So yeah, the young bats are going to have to come alive to carry us. But sorry, I had to answer that. That was important. The young bats are going to have to carry us. We've seen it in baseball. It's not that this hasn't happened. I mean, there's a team almost every year that all of a sudden just goes into that last month and plays outstanding baseball. Things are going to have to roll that haven't really rolled almost all year for the most part, especially with what we have going on. But
yeah, it's tough. Obviously, like I said, we've seen things before. I think the Tigers kind of had more time to go on that run. But no, listen, anything can happen. You always just gotta. That's why you play 162. That's why you don't give up after 120. And obviously, I'll watch. I'll see kind of how we do. But it's gonna get tougher and tougher the more and more we win 1 or win 2. We gotta start sweeping series. And we gotta start looking like the ball club that we were at the end of July, early August. But because that was such a small kind of blip and the rest of the season was very average, it's going to be tough.
Absolutely. Mom still believes. I'll still be watching. I haven't given up complete hope. My eyes will be there still. But, I paid $100 for the package. I'm not going to not watch these games. But, yeah. So, all right. Well, as if this show can continue to just, it was going to be depressing for me, and I apologize for the dings. That should be the last one. For some reason, when my computer turns on, it now only connects to my phone when it's on the show. So my bad. As this show was going to be depressing already, and the Micah Parsons news really was just the hammer on top of it. So quickly, I guess, because I'm going to say quickly, even though you're not going to want to do this quickly, we're going to talk some footy. Your EPL review from the week, and be careful, Drew, because I am hanging on the positivity, we're building things, it's still early fence, and I'm teetering. Manchester United was eliminated from the Carabao Cup yesterday by League 2 side. Yeah, thanks, Ray. By League 2 side Grimsby Town. No, that's not a town from a horror movie. It's a real place with a real team. And they beat me. I think the funniest way to sum up yesterday's penalty kick lost was the post-game interview with Grimsby Town goalkeeper, who was asked about beating Manchester United. And his quote was, "Well, I'm a Manchester United fan, so I'm kind of half gutted."
Yeah, it hasn't been a great week for you, and when I pull this up, we're gonna see why as well. We did have some fun games this week, I will say.
I was gonna say, hold on, I will give the people the things to the things on the rundown here. Your Blues kicked off the week, obviously, as you see, with a big 5-0 win over West Ham. Spurs upset City over Manchester City 2-0. Burnley over Sunderland. Brentford over Villa. Arsenal 5 on Leeds. Thank you. One good result for me. Lowly Manchester United draw with Fulham. And no question, Andrew, the game of the week by far. Liverpool beat Newcastle in a thriller, 3-2. Liverpool going up 2-0. Newcastle storming back, and then a late winner by a 16-year-old from Liverpool, whose name I didn't even bother to write down because that's just not what I'm doing this week. Drew, which of those stood out for you?
Yeah, I think we can kind of move past my result because West Ham gave up 3 to Sunderland in the beginning weeks, and they've given up 8 goals in 2 weeks. So that's more concerning to them than a good result for us. That's definitely someone to look at for relegation watch early in the season. And then obviously Arsenal beating up on a recently promoted team. I think they did that last year. That's nothing crazy. And then your result, I think that was just a little bit of bad luck. I think that was in the
I know
the cup game. I think this was just a bit of bad luck. I think Bruno, regardless if you want to say that the referee nudging him was actually taking him off his game or not, I think regardless, I think it was just unlucky that he didn't get the penalty there. I think you should have won that game.
Penalty kicks anymore.
But we're gonna move on from it because hey, it's just some bit of bad luck there. But yeah, the two that I really want to talk about, Spurs with this 2-0 win against City, I think is a big sign that obviously City are still figuring things out, but that Spurs are an actual good runner this year. I think that you see that they took care of business against Burnley, which everyone's like, okay, whatever. But one, that's a team that Spurs typically either draws to or loses to in the beginning of the season because that's just, they're not ready to play yet. But also now coming up in this game, you have two opposite ends of the spectrum, and they played them almost perfectly in both games. An amazing defensive performance by the Spurs team to basically completely shut down this attack. I don't think Haaland had a shot on goal until the 65th minute when he had a header go over the bar. And so an absolutely amazing sign for this Tottenham team. I think City's going to bounce back. I don't think that'll be too big of a deal for them. But I think it's very encouraging for Spurs fans that you can go to opposite ends of league, people who are going to fight for relegation and people who are going to fight for the title and play both really well.
Yeah, I agree. Arsenal showing okay, that's fine.
I said, they put 6 on Southampton last year in the beginning of the year. I'm not gonna take into account these kind of games because Arteta has been known to beat up on the lower level guys. Just when they get up to these big games, they can't do anything. And so that's when I'm actually going to pay attention.
I just needed to hear that. I'm going to admit, although it's very early, it does appear that Spurs is going to be better than I thought they would be.
And we'll see, obviously.
But that big result at the end there, the 3-2 win, Liverpool over Newcastle, great game to watch. Although I did fall asleep for a majority of in between it and had to keep rewinding. But
So my one comment on that very quickly is this is now twice that Liverpool have gone up big, lost the lead, and had to come back and win it, which I don't know if that's them being lackadaisical or if that's a testament to their defense that maybe it's not as solid as it was in the previous years. Obviously, you come up against a Bournemouth team that really isn't great going forward, so that's pretty interesting. And then you have this Newcastle team that has some firepower even without Isak, but was down to 10 men and basically had to defend as well and counterattack. And so that is something to look at as this Liverpool
and had chance
exactly. And so this Liverpool team, maybe that is a way to maybe outclass them. Is if you have a good stout defensive team and you can counterattack well, maybe that's kind of the route you have to go because now that seems like the only way to really break them down. But regardless, that attack from Liverpool is ridiculous, and I don't think you're gonna get many clean sheets are gonna happen when you play them.
The thing that sucks is they kind of starting this year are starting to remind me of those City teams that repeated where, we're looking, me and you, we're texting in the groups, hey, City's down. Hey, City's tied. And then you're like, oh, never mind. We'll see. Although it was exciting to see at least City lost as well. You got a run through for this week, I'm assuming?
Yep, just some quick ones because there's not a lot of like great fixtures. Obviously ours because we're biased and we like to talk about ours. I go up against Fulham, London Derby this weekend. Nothing too crazy. You come up against a recently promoted side that's really been struggling lately, and so maybe that's the boost you need to really kind of get through there because this team has been leaking in goals like crazy. So we will see from there. But one of the big matches of the week, Liverpool versus Arsenal. Both teams undefeated, both teams playing really great offensively. Arsenal, I think, playing a little bit better defensively, but we will see what happens there. I think that's going to be a really, really fun game.
You should win. If I don't win, there are going to be serious questions asked about Ruben Amorim's job.
Yeah.
Yes, this quickly, and yes, this early. And third, I have just a question for you on the last game, Liverpool-Arsenal. Liverpool wins. We won't come in here and say anything different other than obviously, yeah. If Arsenal is to win, would it change your mind about anything?
It's so tough because if you remember last year, they went and beat City early on in the year, and we went, okay, Arsenal, here you are. Here's legit. The issue with Arsenal, and I think this is the thing, I honestly, I personally think this is an Arteta thing, is that it is so hard to manage players through a 36 or 38 game match window there. And I think you need to have some consistency in the way that you're speaking to your team. And from all I've heard, it's very hard for him to kind of keep these players motivated throughout the season, especially when so many things are going on. So it's not I wouldn't dismiss the victory, but I'm not calling them title contenders even if they win. Because it's so hard for me to tell them that it's hard for me to say that a team that has done something like this and then absolutely fumbled at the end is going to do it right this time.
But what if I beat Burnley?
Then you are absolutely up in there. Top 3 guaranteed.
I hate you and I love you. All right, so that'll do it for the EPL. All right, it's time to switch gears. Drew, we finally had some college football. Real football was played.
Kenny, I'm calling you Kenny because I'm that excited. Ken, brother, bro, everything. The fact that this was the first weekend, I woke up, threw on Premier League. I threw on the pregame, even though it wasn't game day. This one will be actual game day. Shout out Lee Corso.
We'll talk.
Not a dry eye in the building, but threw on pregame, threw on EPL, and then as soon as noon hit, the big TV switched, and I got to watch college football kickoff. Didn't do anything the rest of the day except for watch college football. I was in heaven. I did not realize how much I missed just sitting and watching 12 people on each side just run into each other for 3 hours. Oh, it was amazing. I loved it.
Absolutely. We kicked off the week in Ireland in a very, very, very rainy game between Iowa State and Kansas State. A familiar name on the program, Drew, Rocco Becht. Okay, a name you might be familiar with. We talked about him before. Quarterback at Iowa State, 14 for 28, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. Quarterback stats are back, baby. And they fought off a fourth quarter comeback by Kansas State to win 24-21 in Ireland. And then, Arlo, do you want to talk about that one first, or you want me to run through them?
Let's talk about this real quick because I think because we're going to talk about it because it's the first game of the slate in the first week.
Let's go.
And ranked teams. And listen, I know that we're in a movement where we want spread football. We want shots down the field. We want big plays. The fact that because it was raining, each team had to go, okay, we are turning the ball over left and right. We're going to ground and pound. We're going to run this ball down, and then we're going to play action and throw some over the top when we get some breathing room. Oh, it was fantastic to watch. I absolutely loved it. And also shout out to Avery Johnson, quarterback for Kansas State. And I'm going to get to him in the next slide because we'll see how that I'll show you what I got cooked up. But put the team on his back at the end of that game and almost single-handedly brought them back. But a really great job by Iowa State on that last drive, bleeding the clock out and getting that last conversion to be able to kneel the ball down. A great, great game and a great start to this college football season.
Just hang in there, Bailey. Shout out to Bailey. He is all kinds of, I don't even know what his official title is over there at Cleveland SC. He does a whole
Boss.
Whole lot of stuff. We are in talks to potentially be trying to cover some Cleveland FC Cup run. We just need to try to figure out me and my brother's schedule. Yeah, absolutely amazing. The one thing I will mention, because you said rain, it's a little different over there in Europe when it rains. As members here who watch EPL and soccer all over Europe, when it rains over there, and it really rains, it's a totally different ball game. So yeah, absolutely had to run the ball there, and that was a great game there. But and I'm glad you have it up there. It was our other game, and I've got to mention it. Hawaii over Stanford 23 to 20. My Rainbow Warriors are back. Pac-12 before 8 is back. But the reason I really want to mention this game, okay? Hawaii won the game on a game-winning field goal from kicker Kenzie Matsuwaza. Matsuwaza. Okay? This is a great story, okay? Kenzai grew up and played soccer in Japan. Watched an American football game, fell in love with kicking, learned how to kick an American football watching YouTube videos. He spent 2 years in Ohio at Hocking College, okay, where he hit 12 field goals with a long of 50, transfers into Hawaii, and in his first game goes 2 for 2 on extra points, 3 for 3 on field goals, including that game winner. I salute you. We respect the kickers on this show. We didn't have it officially this week, but you, sir, are our Straub Bro of the week. Okay, that was just an amazing performance. Shout out to him. Shout out to our soccer players who become kickers. Yeah, that's what I got on.
No, listen, if Stanford would have won this game, I may not even have put it in the graphic. But Hawaii winning is always so much fun because it's this team that's fun loving. When it's dark outside and you're watching the game, it's bright and you're like, this is fantastic. I love it. This was such a resilient game from them. They went down multiple times and was able to retake the lead and then win it at the end there. A great start. Obviously, Stanford, not a great team, but regardless, a great start for Hawaii. And listen, we're going to talk quarterbacks here. An amazing performance there.
So what does that mean? It's time for Drew's quarterback watch.
Yes, and you know what? We only got a couple this week because only a couple games played, but we got week 0 quarterbacks here. We got Micah Lajado from Hawaii, went 27 for 39, 210 passing yards and 36 rushing yards, include 2 passing touchdowns, an amazing one for there. And both quarterbacks for the Iowa State-Kansas State game get one. Rocco Becht, 14 of 28, 183 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. And then Avery Johnson, I think, best of the bunch here. 21 of 30, 273 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Amazing performance, although didn't get the win. All 3 quarterbacks, absolutely amazing. I'm going to probably keep it to about 3 to 4, depending on the game week, kind of what we're seeing in quarterback-wise. But I wanted to get all those guys in there because I think all of them deserved an amazing shout-out for bringing college football back this week.
First of all, I'm going to challenge you that, like when we got this week, when there's 37 games on, and you got to narrow down to 3 or 4.
Don't worry.
Number 2, shout out to you for putting every quarterback on there that actually played a football game. Minus
the Stanford quarterback was not on there because he played terrible.
I was going to say minus Stanford's quarterback, but yeah, that is great. I love that. All right, Drew. It is here. It is finally here. Week 0 is out of the way. It is time for a full slate of college football. It is college football week 1. And you know what that means? It is time for the return of your top 25 graphic. Yeah, baby, we are back and updated. Now, while I've got the top 25 up on the board, I'm actually going to pull it down because I want to talk about something college football-wise that has nothing to do with a single game being played on the field. And I'm going to try to keep it together because when I watched the documentary, I did get emotional. This weekend is Lee Corso's last game day appearance. If you like sports ever in your life, at one point ever, for a second, you have to tune in. If you haven't watched Not So Fast, my friend, the Lee Corso documentary on ESPN, please go watch it. It is amazing. And I will tell you this, and I'll spoil it. The last 5 minutes are the guys from game day saying goodbye to Corso while Corso is in the somewhere watching it, and you get to see reactions. Okay, so I've got goosebumps talking about it. Go watch the documentary, and yes, there will not be a dry eye in the house or in this house, at least with me, for his last appearance, his last headgear appearance, all of that. So please check it out. I panicked last week when the alarm went off and I thought I missed the start of game day before I realized it wasn't the real game day, that they didn't start till week 1. So yes, I will be locked in and ready to go. Make sure you turn into game day. Now, with that being said, back to your top 25. Texas Longhorns at the number 1 spot, followed up by Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami. That's your top 10. I'm not going to read you the whole top 25. Drew, before we get into the big games, actually, no, let's just do that. There's your top 25. But, Drew, there's only a couple that not really matter, but they're the ones we have to look at, and that is your Straub Bros Big Saturday. We'll start up at the top. Or no, actually, we're going to start with the early game right there on your right-hand side. Noon on Fox. Number 1 Texas travels to Columbus to take on number 3 Ohio State. Drew, what we're going to do this week is we don't actually have what we are going to do this week, which is have a guest picker, but actually we kind of do. You, sir, in your college gear, in your garb, you are going to be our celebrity guest picker. So we'll pick the games, but first, let's talk about it. Ohio State versus Texas.
Yeah, and I think the two biggest things that we're going to talk about is obviously Julian Sayin and Arch Manning. I think you have 2 quarterbacks that even with Arch Manning have some experience, have a hell of a lot to prove coming into this season. And so I would say it's less on, I think it's less on both of those quarterbacks because they are talented. They obviously are starting at a top 3 school right now, so they have the talent. It's how are they going to handle these defenses? Because both of these defenses are elite. Both of these defenses know how to pressure and make quarterbacks uncomfortable. How are they going to handle this pressure? Because obviously these quarterbacks have a long season of growth, of getting into the season, but this is a massive game to kind of get on the right foot and give your team motivation and confidence that you are the quarterback that's going to lead them into a college football playoff spot. And so I think the first couple drives are going to be interesting to watch, but what really is going to get me interested in those fourth quarter drives. Even if they're up or they're down, it's can you put the game away or can you take the lead late? What can you do there? Because that is going to be where it matters. Obviously, we saw Quinn Ewers last year. They had a chance to tie it. They had a chance to kind of tie the game. And then you saw, Jack Sawyer run the ball 80 yards the other way. And so that's going to be those moments that you're going to, because this game is going to be close. I have no doubt in my mind, even if it's a blowout early, either way, this game is going to be close. The shoe is going to be absolutely packed and rocking on multiple guys. There aren't even Ohio State fans or Texas fans that are going to watch this game because of how good it is. And so it is going to be a hostile environment, especially for Arch Manning. It's going to be a lot of pressure for these Ohio State players to kind of keep up the performance from last year. It's going to be very interesting to see kind of how each side kind of plays each other out. Do you want me to make the pick now or after you have your kind of talk?
We'll do picks last. We'll actually run through all of them all together, and then I have a special 5th game tiebreaker for you that you'll get to pick on. Okay. Now, I agree with you. This is the battle of these 2 quarterbacks. Now, here's where I will say, and it's if this team still had Quinn Ewers, I would be picking Texas in a landslide. But they don't have a guy back there who's got a ton of experience, who's walked into opponent stadiums and has dealt with that kind of noise. And Columbus is a different level of noise. That's going to be the key. Can Arch handle it? Now, here's the thing, without looking like I'm anti-Ohio State over here. I think he is. I think the kid is the real deal. I think he's legit. I think we may be blessed with 2 full years of him. So that might be possibly 2 Heisman runs. I think the kid is the real deal, and I'll be okay if you clip this and I'm wrong. I think that'll be the difference. I know Sayan's going to be at home. I know he's going to have that crowd behind him. I said it in my preseason prediction that these freshman quarterbacks were going to have a hard time. And I think this might be one of the minor stumbling blocks. Like I said, I still think Ohio State's a playoff team. I just don't think that all of the replacements are quite ready yet. And I think that starts with the quarterback position, where Texas was almost like reload. Arch has had a couple of snaps. He's ready to go. So yes, it's two young and inexperienced quarterbacks, but I think in the end, in the fourth quarter, that little bit of experience, moxie, swag, Riz, I don't know, I'm not sure what you kids call it. We call it swag, sorry. Whatever it is that you think that Arch Manning has, I think that's what gets it done at the end of the day. So,
And that's very fair. They
right.
made that a penalty this year. You can't do that in the NFL.
You can't do that. What's CD gonna do? CD's in trouble because that's CD Lamb all the way. And obviously, Mom says go Bucks. I mean, that was not going to be a question there. All right, we'll keep it moving. I shouldn't say big game, but your other big games, we shift over right at 3:30, right soon as maybe the Ohio State game is ending. Number 8, Alabama at Florida State. Yes, it is, Drew, the only game on this big slate here that has an unranked team in it. However, there's a respect level in tradition and all of those things that I'll talk about every single year, in yellow pants and gold helmets and touching the rock and all of that, and touchdown Jesus and Lucky. Florida State is a program with history. We talked about it in our preseason review. Mike Norvell is coaching for his job right now. I believe this is a good matchup. I'll talk about it later because I got some stuff to talk about it on. But Alabama believes they're primed and ready to make another run and be back to glory. Florida State wants to come back and be respected. Thoughts here?
Yeah, and I think it benefits Florida State, obviously, that they're at home, just because you get the crowd. People are excited at this game. Last year, if this was a week like 6 or 7 game, you had maybe like a 3/4 of attendance. They wouldn't be that into it. There'll be a lot of Alabama fans there, more than there will be now. But I think this has helped. It's week 1. It's a brand new season. You're at home. You got a big opponent. You're going to have a packed stadium rooting you on, trying to make ruin this the rookie quarterback Alabama's first kind of start there. However, this is an Alabama team, regardless if it's a new coach, that is insanely disciplined. That regardless of where they go, who they play, what the crowd is like, they're going to play their game. They're going to play how they want to play. And that's what you're going to expect out of this Alabama team. Will they have some drives where you're like, oh, Alabama doesn't look too good? Absolutely, because it's a rookie quarterback. He's going to make mistakes. The defense is going to make some mistakes. They're going to get away. But I think this Alabama team is very, very talented, and I don't think they're going to be too shaken by this Florida State, crowd, just because of how well an Alabama program is run, regardless of who's at the helm.
I like that, Drew. As I didn't mean to cut you off, I was trying to slide it in during one of your breaths, but you don't breathe when you talk. Tyler Simpson is the quarterback that you were looking for there for Alabama, making his first start. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I'm not saying Mike Norvell needs to win this game to win his job, but it damn well better be competitive. Alabama, if you want to make that college football run with that vaunted SEC schedule, this would not be a game to slip up with when you could potentially be handed a couple down the line. And that, which sucks when we talk about college football as a landscape and as a whole now. Normally when we say don't trip up week 1, man, it could be disastrous, or you might have to win out like Notre Dame did. Now, they're still going to get in more than likely, but it does increase the difficulty with that SEC schedule. You lose week 1. We'll talk about this more in bets and in our pick'ems. Keeping it rolling. 7:30 Saturday night. We've got a big battle of Tigers down in Death Valley, which apparently there's an argument now and a fight between the two teams of who has the real Death Valley, because LSU calls their place Death Valley too. But in South Carolina, in Death Valley, number 9 LSU at Number 4, Clemson. A huge, like just on the other side there, a huge top 10 matchup between two teams that really truly believe they're back in and they have a chance. And also a battle of two coaches who know each other very, very well. Brian Kelly spent his years at Notre Dame being tormented by Clemson, other than a COVID game. And now he takes over. Obviously, he's been there at LSU for a couple years, but him and Dabo Swinney match up. Drew, thoughts on the Battle of the Tigers? And I guess we can call it the Battle of Death Valley. And shout out to our guy, Mari Mitchell, my guy there, absolutely in running for your Rapids Play of the Year. Mari Mitchell is gonna take it to the house. Go ahead.
So when we talk about this game, it's interesting because, and I'm gonna be completely candid here, I think LSU has more talent. I think that's just a natural thing to have. I think LSU
They always have talent.
consistently brings in one of the most talented players. I think Brian Kelly is a fantastic recruiter in terms of bringing guys in. Maybe guys that, if he wasn't there, would go to Alabama or go to Georgia. He takes kind of those guys. However, I think Dabo Swinney is, overall the better coach. I think he schemes better offensively and defensively. I think that in terms of late game kind of tactic switching and changing your opponent, I think he is very, very good at what he does there.
I can say that now. I'm comfortable now that they finally match up and he's not on my side. Yeah, he's clearly the better coach.
And so I think that's where you're kind of going to see here is, does LSU's caliber of players overtake Dabo Swinney's coaching ability? Because listen, this Clemson team is very, very good. They are very good at controlling the game. They are very good at doing things on their own terms. But if there's a slip up where the offense just can't seem to get going, they turn the ball over too much. This is an LSU team that will 100% capitalize on these mistakes and are going to score points regardless. This Clemson team is a very good defense, but this LSU offense is going to put up at least 30 points. And so this Clemson offense has to get going from the jump. They have to go forward to even have a chance at this game. And then if it's close, I think you have to decide, who do you trust more? Do you trust the LSU talent or do you trust the coaching of Dabo Swinney? And I think that's going to be the big question kind of going into this game. Only if Clemson can keep the ball moving on offense.
Yes. I mean, and they've got a quarterback who's ranked in the top 100 or top 10. So does LSU. Newsmeyer is up there. I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about the coaches in this segment, minus maybe Mike Norvell, which is, I mean, I guess a fault on us. But this is 100% down to coaches for me. Brian Kelly don't have Jane Daniels anymore. So for right now, for me, in a big game, I'm going to roll with the guy on the other side as in a big game, in a talent versus talent game, where it kind of comes down, or not talent versus talent, in a game where the talent is locked in and at the highest level on both sides. And it does come down to those little moments and those coaching moments and those keeping your cool down the stretch moments, which Brian Kelly is not good at. I'm going to ride with Dabo or you know what I mean? I'm going to look at that other side. I'm not necessarily disclosing that pick like that, but I'm just saying, if when I'm looking at that and I'm looking at the two coaches, I don't always trust what's on that other side on where Brian Kelly is in terms of those late game situations. But yeah, this is going to be the battle of two very good quarterbacks, and they're going to slang it out and they're going to run it around, and it's going to be, excuse me, it's the first time I get to say this. The kickoff return for a touchdown, the interception return for the touchdown, the late fumble. Who on the defense can make the play that stumbles one of these offenses that allows their team to get ahead, push ahead, stay ahead, whatever it might be?
Absolutely.
All right. And last, certainly not least, Sunday, not just the NFL day. Sunday this week is for some college. And I agree with our new head coach of the Cuyahoga Falls Rapids, Jamal Singleton. Coaching-wise, definitely give the nod there. But Sunday, 7:30, ABC. I am praying our drafts will be done by then so I can get home. Number 6, Notre Dame, travels down to Miami to take on number 10, Miami Hurricanes. Drew, I mean, before trying not to have, at least the game wasn't played, so I don't have to say that or have this possible disappointment there. But first big test for the Irish, trying to return after the national championship berth last year, and Miami, who lost out on the playoffs last year, but a team trying to turn over talent as all of their players from their offense, minus Cam Ward, were cut from the NFL. So trying to completely rehaul an offense there. Drew, your thoughts on this one? And I agree.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because you have two teams that were kind of on the same trajectory starting the season, and then one kind of tapered off and lost themselves a chance, and one stayed the course and went as far as, the national championship. And now I think they're kind of in a very similar position. Obviously, I think you returned more talent, but you also have a brand new quarterback again, and it's not one that's had much experience. And so it's a very tough thing, and same thing for Miami. But however, they're now bringing in a quarterback that has a lot of experience, especially against you. And so it's going to be very, very interesting kind of how this plays out. I think the biggest key here is that the first quarter, because I know we talked about how the late quarters of this Ohio State-Texas game is going to kind of defend something. The early stages of this Notre Dame-Miami game is going to be very telling because other than the offense on both teams, I think the Notre Dame defense and how it responds to losing so many players to the draft is going to be even more telling, because if this can be the Notre Dame team of last year that grinds out these games, that makes sure that their offense only has to score about 21, 28 points because their defense is going to hold them to under 20, then I'm giving the nod to Notre Dame. However, if you look at it and you see Miami start to put up 14 in the first quarter and they start to drive again, then you go, ooh, is this defense good enough to kind of not carry his offense as much as it did last year, but carry him enough to beat these top 10 teams that are going to be putting up points? Because that's kind of the big question mark there. And so I think that's going to be very, very key. Also, regardless how your quarterback does in the first drive or two, because that's going to be also very telling, because while this Miami defense isn't great, it's still good, and they're going to put some pressure on him, and how he handles that is going to be very, very telling.
Yeah, I mean, the two names I talked about in the preview, CJ Carr, Chris Ash. So we'll start with CJ. We'll start with Chris Ash. We talked about it. He has to replace a NFL level coordinator who was helping him scheme. I know for a fact that Marcus Freeman has been in there with him, helping him. I believe that this defense is ready to go. It's weird because if you're a Notre Dame fan or if your team is like this, you're going to understand. But if you don't, you're going to think I'm weird and I don't know my team. I know my offensive names. When it comes to the defense, I very much take let me sit back and watch, because what happens is guys start to make plays, and those are the guys who play. I know you would think that's obvious, but no, not all the time. You will see some guys stay in or some rotations made. No. So I kind of start to watch and I see who those guys are, and then I'm like, okay, these are my guys to watch. These are the guys I'm locked in on. So I know this defense is talented. I know they've got to replace a lot, but I also know that there was a lot of guys who were kind of laying in wait, kind of having to hold off, because a lot of these guys stayed to try to make another run. So the defense is going to be what I think the defense is going to be. I don't think we'll get as many turnovers as we did last year, because it's just impossible to repeat turnovers. So we're going to have to learn to bend but not break, and also maybe have to force a couple more third down stops rather than get the turnover. But it all comes down to the offense. It all comes down to CJ Carr. It all comes down to Jadavian Love and Jeremiah Love, Jadavian Price.
Why do I know that?
Too many J's in there for me right now. So it's going to come down to those two guys. If those guys can hit holes and open up big yards and make big plays and open up big space for CJ to be able to just hang out in the pocket and pick it apart and make his plays and make smart plays and dump it off on third downs and throw it away when he's in trouble. If he can do that, we'll be okay. If he doesn't, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Drew, let's do it. Your Straub Bros college pick'em. All right. So we'll start at noon. Number 1, Texas.
Oh, we're starting with the hardest one.
Okay. Okay. You know what? We'll go from top to bottom then. All right. We'll mix it around then. I like that. That was a good point. All right. Well, then we're going to start with the 3:30 game. Number 8, Alabama at Florida State. Give me your pick. Give me a sec. I know we talked about it and we went through, but give me your pick or give me why and give me your pick.
Yeah, I think Florida State's going to put up a decent fight in the first quarter, but like I said, I think that the talent and the professionalism of Alabama really pushes through. I think they keep it close for 3 quarters, but I think Alabama pulls away end of third, beginning of fourth. Give me Alabama.
All right, I'm gonna do my best bad Lee Corso impression. Okay, while um, Florida State, you need to make a statement. Okay, they brought in former Boston College quarterback Thomas Castellanos. He couldn't make it at Boston College. I don't think it helps being at Florida State. Give me Alabama. Give me the Alabama big there. We'll go to Death Valley. Number 9 Clemson, or number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson, 7:30. Give me your pick.
Oh, like I said, I think this one's going to be close. Going to come down to kind of one of the last drives. But like I said, if that was going to happen, I think Clemson has the better coach. I think Clemson has the better quarterback as well. And I think that Clemson either holds LSU's offense on the last drive or wins it with their offense on the last drive. Either way, give me Clemson.
That's all I got to say. There's no way I'm riding with a Brian Kelly team right now. Give me Dabo. Give me bringing all your guts. Give me all of that. Death Valley, the Clemson one, on a Saturday night, coming out of the bus. It is going to be an absolute just mess there. And yeah, give me Clemson.
Hot take, worst intro in all of college football.
Wow, somebody might come on the podcast for the first time just to yell at you about that.
Please.
I
get on a bus, go around your apartment, come back out of the bus and tell me. Like,
absolutely 100% disagree with you on that. Not so fast, my friend. Okay, I love it. I do wish they would just come out of the locker room right there, but I get it. But no, coming down. Listen, they're
walk to the area. Don't take a bus.
Dude, there's an alert that goes off or something in the stadium when they know that they're on their way. The buses are rocking. No, give me the whole thing. No, disagree. To disagree with you, there's no tradition bashing here on the Straub Roast Sports Show. All right. Number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. Drew, are you going to break my heart?
This is the thing. If Miami had Cam Ward or Miami had, honestly, any other quarterback, I'd say give me Miami. They have the talent at quarterback. They're throwing it around. This Notre Dame defense is good, but not as good as this offense. It's going to be tough. Give me Miami. However, there is a reason Carson Beck has yet to go into the NFL draft. There is a reason why Carson Beck is now on another team in his 1,000th year. He is a good college quarterback, but he is not great. That Georgia team was absolutely stacked around him, and I think that's why Georgia realized that, and I think he realizes that, and all the NFL scouts realize that. And while this Miami team is talented, this Miami team is also not Georgia when it comes to just the plethora of talent on both sides of the ball. Ken, I know your quarterback is going to struggle, but I think Marcus Freeman is going to put him in a best position to not have to make those kind of mistakes. I think they're going to lean on that running game, and I think that's going to be a big part for you. Ken, I don't want to gas you up. I don't want to get your hopes up, but give me Notre Dame to go into Miami and take the win.
I love you, bro. This is very hard for me because if you have watched the show, we don't do picks like this. This is something I'm debuting that my brother is very not happy with. I'm also now upset because I now realize that I'm probably going to have to actually pick the Notre Dame game every week. And if I didn't have to do it for competition, I would probably just pick against them every week to just make myself feel better. But come on, y'all. Come on now. Green jerseys. Let's go. Lucky for president. Freeman for president. Carr for Heisman. Listen.
I'll second all those.
Listen, hurricanes, blizzards, frosties. Give me Notre Dame in the spread.
There we go.
All right. Now, the big one in Columbus. Number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. Which young quarterback, which talented roster gets it done?
So this is a game that reminds me of something because it was a team that had lost to Ohio State the year previous, came into Ohio State with a swaggy quarterback who came in, dismantled Ohio State with a young quarterback, and that quarterback planted his school's flag on the Ohio State middle, so much so that all teams do it when they beat Ohio State now, and so much so that legislators are trying to ban it. I'm talking about Baker Mayfield in Oklahoma. I think the same thing happens here. I think that this Ohio State quarterback is under way too much pressure too early. I don't think he's proven yet. I think he's good, but this Texas defense is great. I think it's going to be the best in the country, if not top 3. It's going to be absolutely an amazing game, but I think this is going to be Arch Manning's coming out party. I think he is going to throw all over this Ohio State defense. Give me Texas, not a blowout, but I don't think it's a one-score game. Give me Texas, and I think this is the start of the Arch Manning hype train.
Wow. I'm surprised because you did a very good job of keeping that hidden. I did not. Yeah, I believe Arch is the real deal. I think these are 2 talented rosters. I just think that in the landscape of college football, it is really, really hard, and it's even harder now in the NIL era to just reload like that and keep it going, especially when you've lost the quarterback. And I think that is the difference. I think Ohio State will be good, but yeah, I like Texas here. And yes, I think this is the start of Arch Manning just leading the Drew quarterback update graphic dang near on a weekly basis. So give me Texas there. So Drew, I kind of had a feeling this would happen. Okay. So we're chalk across the board. We both have Alabama. We both have Clemson. We both have Ohio State. We both have Notre Dame. So, of course, what do they do on game day? When they normally have a game day picker on, they normally do it at the school of that guest picker. Well, unfortunately, it's not like we could have our show down in Cincinnati. You don't go to school there anymore and don't live down there, and I don't either. However, your Bearcats play tonight. So, the Straub Sports Show College Pick'em tiebreaker between me and you is tonight's game. Are you home? Yeah. Nebraska.
I'm the home team.
Yeah.
However, we're in Arrowhead. It's a neutral site game.
Yeah, there you go. Arrowhead. Because I was gonna say when I looked, I knew it was funky. Nebraska and Cincinnati tonight. Drew, who you got?
If I was a neutral, I'd say the Cincinnati team, they're okay, but they're not good. They're unproven at wide receiver. They have a running back that's new to the system, and they just lost their guy to the draft. This defense is suspect, especially in the secondary. I don't know how they're going to move the ball consistently and stop teams. This Nebraska team is on a hot streak. Dylan Raiola is this amazing second coming of Patrick Mahomes, both physically and like a look-alike, apparently. This Nebraska team has an amazing defense, and this isn't even a true home game for Cincinnati. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Cincinnati comes into this game. Brandon Sorsby shows that he is a force to be messed with when it comes to Big 12 quarterbacks. Tyree Walker comes in and shows that he can run this ball down any defense's throats. This defensive line is going to be running Dylan Raiola ragged all game. We are going to get big play from our secondary. Give me Cincinnati. I don't care. We're getting it done tonight.
Much love to you, bro. I set you up for failure there.
100%. Because I knew you were picking Nebraska. You've been talking about them since we started college football this year.
I mean, first things first, yes, I put Nebraska in my preseason predictions as a team that is back this year. We've defined that before, so don't come at me when they're not national champions. That's not what I meant. But Not to mention, it's my show. It's my pick'em. You're going against me. The tiebreaker's not going to be in your favor. Not so fast, my friend. Shout out to you, Lee Corso. I'm going with Nebraska. I think this is also the beginning of Dylan Rayola's coming out party. And all of the flash and all of the comparisons and all of that stuff starts to come to fruition. And I think, unfortunately, bro, I think he's going to light your Cincinnati Bearcat defense up tonight. Give me Nebraska.
And hey, listen, like I said, if I was a neutral, I'd be completely on your side. If I went to any other college, I would tell you absolutely this Nebraska team has all the tools to start their. No, I can't do it. Listen, the Sauce Gardner jersey is here. I'm calling on the defense today. I'm ready. And you know what? I told myself this, and I'm going to say it on the podcast. Regardless of the outcome, I'm just happy we get to watch Cincinnati football again. I've been missing it dearly. I've been missing college football dearly. It's going to be an amazing weekend, and it starts with tonight. Also, if and you guys are absolute sickos, Boise State is currently leading South Florida 7-0. Start of the second quarter.
Yeah, I'll throw that up there. Yeah, Boise State, South Florida, absolutely. Thank you for that update there. Now, that game, not in, but yours is, because, Drew, it is time to bring something back. I'm very happy to bring it back. It's time for Big Bros, Big Bets. It's time to make some money. Now, your top 25. Now, well, first of all, as you see, we're a little split up this year. We've got our top 25 spreads. We've got your specials. Ken's specials is normally just going to consist of games that are not in your top 25. I've got your upsets, and I've got your locks. Your top 25 there, some interesting spreads. Texas is favored by 2.5. I did say Notre Dame in the spread. They are favored by 2.5. As you see,
that's why you picked them in the spread.
I mean, well, yeah, the spread was a field goal. Come on now. I am not – Mama didn't raise no dummy, and I was born on the 5th of August, okay? So anything on that top left box while I grab FanDuel real quick to bring up the top 25s, anything stand out to you that you're like, oh, I don't bet, but I kind of like this?
Well, one, I absolutely love some action always, so having Bowling Green on there is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, you're done. That's not in the right section.
I just wanted to put that out regardless because I need to talk about it. Tennessee always blows teams out in the beginning of the year, and I know they're playing Syracuse.
Yeah, they play Syracuse.
And I know it's Syracuse, but I think Tennessee always plays amazingly in the start of the season. Give me like that Tennessee spread is absolutely, I love that. Alabama, like I said, I like that spread. I think, like I said, they pull away there. And yeah, I think that Notre Dame one, I think, like I said, it's going to be a close game, but if you're going to win by like a field goal. And so I do like that.
The two lopsided ones, and I know you're like, what? Listen, these first couple weeks, these teams are playing cupcakes, okay? And they're going to put up some big points. Ole Miss and Georgia State, that 24.5 is a little taste, or that 35.5 is tasty. I know it's big, but it's tasty. And then Texas A&M 24.5 against UTSA. Like I said, another tasty one. Now, Ken specials, yes, bro, you see them. Welcome back, Bowling Green. They're currently up 7-0 on Lafayette, so unfortunately, you could not get that one locked in. That's the problem with having early action on a Thursday. That was 15.5. The one I do kind of like too, I'm sorry, Wyoming, 5.5, 4.5 over Akron. It was 5.5 now. I really like that. Akron's not good. I apologize. Yes, I do have Nebraska. Minus 6.5 on there over your Bearcats. I do apologize. I don't know why San Diego State does not have a spread. Probably because I didn't mean to actually put it there. And yes, Army minus 14.5, baby. The academies are back. I have to scroll to try to tell you who Army plays. I couldn't even tell you. I also like Georgia Tech minus 4.5 over Colorado. I know. I love me some Dion, and I love me some Coach Prime. I love me some Colorado, but I really like what this Georgia Tech team has brought back.
I would say Army plays Tarleton State.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're in here. Charlatan State. Exactly.
No, not even Charlatan. Tarleton.
Oh, Tarleton.
It's a Texas-based team in the United Athletic conference.
Absolutely. One of the other things I really want to tell you that's funny, number 15, Florida plays Long Island. I did not know Long Island had a football team.
I knew you had a basketball team.
Keep it 100. Did not know that. Now, my upsets of the week, they're ones to look at. I'm not locking them in, but they're ones. They're a little tasty. They might want to sprinkle them in a parlay. Syracuse plus 420 over said Tennessee team. This Syracuse team has former Notre Dame quarterback. They're looking to reload. Tennessee can be shaky. We don't know what's going on. Transfers in and out. Possible. Florida State. Hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Sham.
That could go really well or really bad.
Yeah, I know. Florida State plus 420 over Alabama. I'm just saying, if you're a diehard, if you think they're back, they could be tasty. And the other one that I do like there, Virginia Tech plus 245 over South Carolina. South Carolina 7.5-point favorites at home. But this Virginia Tech team last year returned the most production in all of college football, returned a lot of it again this year. So a veteran Virginia Tech team, look out for that one. That one was sneaky, but here you go. Ken's locks for the week. Oh, please don't let me regret this. Alabama FSU over 50.5. Love it, lock it. Texas Ohio State over 47.5. Love it, lock it. A strange one. Louisville, Western Kentucky, over 56.5. Why do I love it? That Louisville team is going to put up some points. Okay, they may score the 56.
Absolutely.
They may score the 57 themselves. Maryland minus 14.5. I'm a bad person for not having that one up.
Yeah, and you were all over Maryland, man. You got to have these stats ready.
I know. I apologize for that. I was big on Florida Atlantic. Maryland minus 14.5 over Florida Atlantic.
That's a March Madness game right there.
Absolutely. That's a big matchup. I'd be in on that one. Right. I like the 14.5. I know this Maryland team is not the greatest, but I think they're going to be better than that. I love the UCLA Utah over a 51.5. Come on now. Pac-12 teams scoring points. Let's go. That's no question there. And here's a sneaky one. Here's your sprinkle in on the parlay of the week. Central Michigan, San Jose State under 51.5. I like this San Jose State team. I've talked about it. I like them. I like them a lot. That's my guy, Kendi Malatalolo. They're from Navy. I nailed that. But Central Michigan, these MAC squads, tough, rugged football. I could easily see this being like a 28-27, 28-21, low points there. Okay, so give me that under.
Okay, I like a lot of those. I think that Maryland FAU game, I was like, did we skip 6 months? Are we now in March? We're watching the quarterfinals of we're watching the Elite Eight game right now.
That's totally a Saturday matchup, early first round, the second Saturday. It's absolutely
8 versus 9.
Yeah, 16 there match, a Sweet 16. Absolutely, but there you go. Do not now here. No, I'm going to do better keeping track of overall results this year. Mostly with the locks. Everything else on the other three sides are kind of
more informational.
Yeah, it's information. Bet at your own risk. But I will keep track of my locks. And once we start the NFL season, we'll keep track of my NFL bets as well.
Speaking,
good transition, teaser.
Yeah, listen, we talked about these new college football teams with all these new players. We got to start talking about all these NFL teams and their new players. Ken, I know it's not this weekend, but next Thursday, as we're doing the show, there will be a NFL game starting, and we will be now having Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, full of football. And Ken, what better way to transition this than to start talking about the players who have just transitioned themselves? Ken, here are your offensive rookies to watch. Obviously, Cam Ward, your big quarterback over at Tennessee, the main quarterback to look at. But a lot of running backs, a lot of wide receivers, a couple tight ends at the end. What names are sticking out to you here?
Well, you're going to put me on the spot, and so for fantasy reasons, I'm not going to give all of my honest answers. But, I mean, your guys to look at how many actual defensive snaps Travis Hunter plays on a Jacksonville offense that actually could really use him at wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka, how long until he takes the mantle there from in Tampa Bay from Mike Evans? Obviously, yes, I like what Ray says. Ted McMillan dealing with a bit of a hamstring issue, but it does seem like that's going to be okay. That Carolina team, maybe some eyes there. Colston Loveland, obviously Chicago hoping to have a turnaround. Ashton Jonty, your guy from college, going to be, I think, in trouble there with a really, really not great offensive line in Vegas, but still something to keep an eye on. So a lot of these guys, and in here, most importantly, I think Cam Ward is the truth. So we've been talking about it. Like I said, every guy that was drafted from that Miami offense, I did say the whole offense. I don't think it was the whole offense, but every guy drafted from that Miami offense was cut. Cam Ward was the number one pick. So, and all of the things he's had to say and the way he's led that team, I love what I'm hearing. I like what I see. So I think everyone on that list is a guy to watch for.
No, absolutely. I think Cam Ward, I think not himself, but I think he's going to struggle a little bit just with kind of the players around him. He even spoke himself. They got a long way to go before they kind of can get competitive just the lack of talent there. And I think Jonty, in terms of struggling, you're right. I think you're right. You're going to be right in the aspect of he's not going to be an absolute stud, but I think he's going to be a namesake by the end of the season as someone that if the Raiders bolster that team, he's going to be leading that team.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's going to be a year or two. Hopefully they don't run him into the absolute ground.
No, absolutely. Now, obviously, we got to look at the defense side of the ball, and oh my God, Travis Hunter, of course, is back on there, but also we got some big boys up there, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Mikael Williams, Kenneth Grant, Jalen Walker, and the newly signed Shamar Stewart of Cincinnati. Ken, obviously, you have some big boys here. Who out of this list here do you think is going to make the biggest impact? Because obviously, with the offensive guys, you got quarterbacks who are going to be holding the ball. You got running backs on there. You got wide receivers who are going to make big plays. But here's where you really start to see some true impact players that are going to influence games maybe more subtly than the offensive guys. Who do you think those guys are here?
I think at the end of the year, we're going to look at Abdul Carter and Jalen Walker and go, oh, my God, like these aren't human. And this is the next crop after Miles and TJ Watt and Micah Parsons are done. This is the next group. Out of that, though, I have a question back at you. Mason Graham, not been overly impressive this year, or so far this preseason. Is there bust potential, or is this just the age of overrating sometimes when players are in the top end of the draft? Like there's a certain level of production and stardom, I should say, we expect. And is that too much to ask for?
I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's one, when it comes to playing starters in the preseason, Kevin Stefanski is one of the people that is of the mindset of never wanting to play your starters more than they have to in the preseason, just getting them warm, not getting them in many snaps. So I think that's more, I wouldn't count this preseason as something to take note of, just because I think that he was more probably working on his game than trying to be a disruption, because it really doesn't matter how many sacks you get in the preseason because those games don't mean anything. And so probably just working on kind of how that is. Also, I also believe that when you look at Mason Graham, his caliber of player, or I guess type of player, is a good way to put it, I think, would be his archetype. I think it's not an Ndamukong Suh. It's not a player that is pushing through two offensive linemen, chasing the quarterback and doing. Mason Graham is a guy who is going to sit, hold these blocks, and as soon as that running back gets close to him, wrap up down. Mason Graham is a consistent tackler. He is a big, just burly guy who is going to completely soak up all of the pressure and still make the tackle. And I think that's something that the Browns have been missing. And so is he going to be as impactful as some of the defensive ends that we have watched, or an Ndamukong Suh who is just a freak athlete? No, I don't believe so. But is he going to be, in my mind, a player who's going to be year in, year out, someone we can say he is someone we have to re-sign? He is stopping players from running, through them and running through that middle of that line. Yes. And I think that's what I'm going to measure him as, not as a disruptor, but as a line holder. And I think that's exactly what we're going to get from him. But like I said, yet to be seen. Didn't get used much in preseason. I think when these first couple of games come through is when you're really going to see kind of how they're going to use him and how he actually gets held up to when he's playing the first teamers for 60 minutes.
I think you could clip that and run it as this is what Andrew brings to the show, because I don't think there's anything else I could literally add on top of that other than we're talking about defensive players. I miss you, Micah. I do. It's still too early. I hated you at the beginning of the show, but I miss you now. We'll see you in 15 minutes.
We're going through grief, the stages of grief right now.
Yeah, we are. It's okay. All right, go ahead.
Oh, yes. And finally, obviously, we talk about the rookies and we talk about the brand new opportunities. Now we got to talk about when it gets down to the nitty gritty. When we talk about who has a chance to make it all the way. And Ken, I'm going to steal a line from you. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And when we're talking about Super Bowl tiers, you have the man. You got the Super Bowl contenders. They reloaded. They were there. And then at the lower table, you got to beat the man because you got teams that get there and they're looking great and their offenses look great and their defenses look great. But when you get to your AFC and NFC championships, you are this close and you continually cannot beat these teams. Those are your top two tiers, obviously, with your Lions, your Bills, and your Ravens. And then obviously you have your never knows. That Washington team looked amazing in that postseason run, just got cut short in the NFC Championship game. They are a very old team now, but they still have Jaden Daniels now absolutely running around making things happen. So they are always on your never know. And then when it comes to the 49ers, is Christian McCaffrey going to be healthy? Because if they're healthy, they can make a run. They have the tools around him in the scheme to make it. But if he doesn't stay healthy, I think it's going to be another down year and another just kind of what if year for these 49ers. And then I had to include our teams that regardless of how awful they look and how bad they feel, you never know. And we're delusional, and I'm proud to be delusional until I see that first drive and I go, we suck. We should tank for the first overall pick because it's a wasted year already. But for right now, anything is possible. Kevin Garnett.
First of all, I don't think it's fair to have me in the same delusional group as you. I'm gonna take a stand on that. I'm gonna pick a bone there. I don't think we're the same. Yes, it's not likely, and yes, we may have delusion, but there are levels to that delusion, and yours is not the same as mine. But I 100% agree with this graphic, and I, Drew, have a graphic to back it up.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, here are your 2025 Super Bowl odds. You talk about the man, those teams up there at the top. Philadelphia Eagles plus 750, Kansas City Chiefs plus 800. Okay? That next tier down, you've got the Ravens at plus 700, the Bills at plus 750, and you've got the Detroit Lions there at plus 1100. Now, I am currently there because that Green Bay Packers odd has obviously changed in the last hour. It's only now plus 1200 though. So still some value.
If I were to put them in a tier, I think it would be a gotta beat the man.
Okay.
Because before it was they're good, but the defense is kind of suspect at times. They just lost somebody. The offense is good, but not great. With that addition of Micah Parsons, I think they're in a gotta beat the man.
And last year, Jordan Love struggled. So it's going to come down to how Jordan Love plays and if he can stay healthy. But I did want to mention, as I said, these are, according to FanDuel, shout out to you, your top 5 for each conference. Obviously, as you see in the AFC, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Bengals, both there at plus 2,200. So if you believe in Sean Payton, if you believe Joe Burrow can return and just continue what he can do and the defense can patch together something, some good odds there. And then, yes, on the NFC side, you see it, 750 for your Eagles. And then it kind of falls off there, plus 1,100 for the Lions. As we said, the Packers still stay in that spot, but plus 1,200. The 49ers, plus 1,900, all comes down to Christian McCaffrey's. And I've learned this because the podcast I listen to for fantasy talks about it all the time. He's got bilateral hamstrings issues.
What does that even mean?
Exactly. God bless you. And then there,
bilateral.
Yeah, both legs. Washington Commanders plus 2,000 there. And hey, you know what, bro? Since we are delusional, let's talk about it. My Cowboys currently plus 5,500 to win the Super Bowl. Your Cleveland Browns plus 40,000, joining the New Orleans Saints as the 2 worst odds to win the Super Bowl in the NFL, which is why I had an issue with you putting me in the same delusional tier as you, because I am still in least 4 digits.
You know what? Clip of this. By each of our bye week. No. Let's say by the trade deadline, we will have within 1,000 the same Super Bowl odds.
I'll bet the dollar on it. I'm with you.
I'll bet $1 on it.
All right, let's go. I love it. All right, Drew, you got anything else?
No, I think this was an amazing show. I gotta start pre-gaming for my game just so I could make sure I'm in the right mindset to watch this godforsaken game.
I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you not already having a beer cracked. Although there's one sitting on that counter. I was going to say it just got pulled out of the fridge for you. It's waiting for you there on the counter. Good luck to your Bearcats. I always wish them luck, except I want to win the pick'ems this week, so I have to root for my Nebraska. I almost called them the Nebraska Bearcats. My Cornhuskers there. But yes, that'll do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. Thank you for checking in with us this week. It's definitely fall here in Ohio. So we're back to that football weather, which is also not the greatest weather to be outside in. So head inside this weekend, although I'm sure it'll be nice for us for this holiday weekend. I've got 2 fantasy football drafts that I need to get done before that Notre Dame game. I will also, got to mention, be broadcasting the PAFL Tier 3 Championship game, 6:30 Saturday night, over again on the 216 Sports Network. Shout out to the 30,000 plus people who watched the viral clip of me calling the game-winning, what ended up being the game-winning touchdown for the Broncos. I went full Gus Johnson for you, bro. So check us out on the absolutely. So check us out on the 216 Sports Network. I will be there with Mel. We will be doing a game, that game there. So check us out there and enjoy all of the football this weekend. All of the footy and the football is there for you this weekend. Bro, final shout outs.
Yes. Thank you for everyone listening, watching, commenting, liking, however you interact and help our podcast. An amazing week. It's only going to get better. We will have some news about how we're, breaking down the show as the weeks to come.
Yep.
But for now, whatever it is, regardless, we're going to enjoy the sports we watch and we're going to give you all the information on it. So enjoy your weekend and get ready.
Absolutely. Ray, we will see you Sunday for the fantasy drafts. We absolutely love you guys at the 216 Sports Network. I'll see you this weekend, Mel. Also, a big last shout out to our guy, Rico McGee. He's left the Rapids. He's now currently the head of media over at the Cleveland Girl Bros. Shout out to my guy, Rico. I'm proud of you, bro. You brought me in this game, and I'm proud to see you doing your own thing and in control of your own game there. Bro, shout out to Lee Corso. I'll be watching game day. That'll do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. And as always, love yours.
Hey, Ken's got